Congratulations. Julie's in the back there, and Cynthia's at the front. In 1975, Cynthia arrived from Woodstock, Ontario to Toronto. That was a hotbed of progressive politics and community action. Moving to Toronto from England in 1966, Julie Beddoes says that she realized that she should have been born here. In the West Don Lands Committee, which they created in 1997, because the province had put up the land for sale, it was about to be sold to a harness racing consortium. No sooner had the proposal evaporated that the 2008 Olympic bid process sprang up, changing the city's focus. After that failure, along came the Pan Am Games and its successful bid. And what you see today in the West Don Lands, in large part, is a result of the vision, commitment, and determination of Cindy and Julie. When researching who we should consider for the 2015 prize, we heard lovely things about this duo. Julie is a dogged activist. She's a remarkable public speaker. She can really catch the mood of a meeting and turn it around with a few words. Cindy is an extremely talented community organizer. She has exemplary managerial skills and can be a leader without pushing people around. They're very much committed to the city, the people who live here, and to the people who are not as privileged as others are. It couldn't be more fitting that Julie and Cindy receive this award with the West Don Lands being the focal point of the Pan Am Games. Congratulations to you two.
Yes, it is true. Julie and I are seen frequently together plotting community disruption of all kinds. Shall I start or should I? Okay, so while this is a very great honor to be in such company with all of the other recipients of the Jane Jacobs Award, some of whom I've had the opportunity to work with, including Rollo Myers, Catherine Naismith, Steve Monroe, Bisma Shakir, David Walsh way back, Nick Saul, and of course Spacing Magazine. So there are many others who have received this award, but those are the ones that I have encountered in my work. And I'd like to thank Spacing and Allen Broadband, the Broadband Institute, Ivana Capital, everyone who makes this possible. And it's a particularly great honor to be associated with the work of Jane Jacobs, who is a monumental influence in urban development and whose ideas continue to inspire, I would say, our work very much so. And I'm very pleased to share this prize with Julie. We have been partners in community advocacy and rabble-rousing for more than 15 years, and also with Soraya, whose work in Regent Park is phenomenal. And I lived 23 years in Corktown, and I've had lots of contact with Regent Park, and I just admire what you're doing. It's incredible, very, very admirable. This prize is about community and the way so many of us have worked at making communities stronger, better, more inclusive, making our cities more livable in the very way that Jane Jacobs wrote and spoke about. It's true, when I moved to Toronto in the mid-1970s, I landed in what was then known as Ward 7, now Ward 28, a ward that was lousy with activists. The Battle of Bleecker Street had taken place a few years before, which stopped the kind of nasty urban renewal that Jane Jacobs had fought in New York City. There were resident and tenants associations everywhere, and as a naturally sociable and curious new resident, I fell into what has now become a lifelong habit of community action. I consider myself to be very lucky to have had that introduction to Toronto and the world of community engagement. I've had the privilege of working on issues as diverse as community theater, cooperative housing, poverty reduction, neighborhood planning, and most intensively and extensively, the revitalization of Toronto's waterfront through the work of the West Don Lands Committee and more recently Code Blue TO. And I've done that alongside Julie and the many others engaged waterfront activists who believe that the waterfront could be a better place and are now seeing the results of that work. And I'll just name a few people: Rollo Myers, John Wilson, George Milbrand, Jane Robinson, Jude McDonald, Ula Colgrass, Dennis Finley, Pam Mazza, many others. Forgive me if I haven't mentioned your name. There are a long list of people, so we are not doing this alone. And that is the really great thing about the kind of work that we do. This work has also given us the opportunity to work with the committed city builders at Waterfront Toronto, the city, the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority, and with immensely talented and committed design professionals, one of whom is Joe Lobko here today, who has done a marvelous article that he and Megan have written about the West Don Lands, the history of the development of the West Don Lands. Community advocacy of the kind that Julie and I are engaged in is time and labor intensive, and that has an impact on friends and family. I'd like to acknowledge the support of my friends who've been unwaveringly supportive of various initiatives, always ready to write a letter, make a phone call, or tweet out on an issue. I'm talking about you, Janice. And a very special acknowledgement to my partner, Ron Wintrow, who by day is a political economist, and by night waits patiently for me to return from far too many evening meetings with a pasta pot on the boil, ready to feed me and get a blow-by-blow of the latest controversy. Now, what next? Well, Julie and I, with our community co-conspirators, many of whom are in the room, are continuing to fight locally against, well, the expansion of the island airport that threatens the future health of the waterfront that we've begun to reclaim. Jane Jacobs herself opposed the fixed link to the airport before her death. While we lost a major battle on the Gardner East at City Council, the war is not over. We're continuing to fight through Code Blue TO and our own organizations to fight for a better solution than maintaining the badly outdated Gardner Expressway. In the words of Jane Jacobs, are we building cities for people or for cars? I think you know what our answer is. We will be pushing all levels of government to get going on implementation of the visionary plans to renaturalize the mouth of the Don River. We look forward to continuing to work closely with Waterfront Toronto as an institutional ally. Its collaborative style of leadership has been an ideal match for the energy and expertise that is developed within the West Don Lands Coalition. On that front, a very important goal will be insisting that waterfront revitalization live up to social sustainability goals, such as the 20% affordable housing commitment, an expansion of the Waterfront Toronto Employment Initiative to ensure that marginalized youth and adults can also share in the benefits of rebuilding our waterfront. In closing, I can't help but think of a goofy light bulb joke analogy about our work. So how many people does it take to change a city? Well, it takes one, and then it takes another one, and another one, and another one. And as it turns out, Toronto has a big supply of city builders, and they continue to make a difference. So thank you so much to Spacing, and thank you for all of you.
Well, here to everything Cindy said. Thank you to Spacing and the people who award the prize for giving me a prize for something that's been such fun and so rewarding in itself. But, you know, we achieved nothing alone, and this prize is for the team, both in my neighborhood association, Gooderman Works, and the West Don Lands, Code Blue, and all across the city there are hundreds, maybe thousands of people who work for their local community organizations. And as I said when I was interviewed for the article, very often these community volunteers are way ahead of the political powers that be in the high ideals they set for how our city can become. And one day our city, I think, will catch up with us. We're working on it. But so on behalf of all of that team of people, thank you very much for this award.
Paparazzi.
Right, price of all this fame.
Yeah, it's the family we pay for your
Did you promise them to?
Free magazines.
Thank you very much.